get to our main cast this morning. We have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lady. Let me give you a little background on her because some of you may not know who she is or may not heard her before. But boy, I tell you what, she was a single lady for many years. She told us her age, which I don't like to give out people's ages, but she fell in love with a guy named Tony, and they got married, and she had a hair salon at the time. Maybe I'll go see her after. And they had a construction business. A beautiful family. She's a grandmother. She also enjoys cooking in her backyard. And I remember a couple of times she got here in that backyard. She got a pizza oven in her backyard. I'm sitting there just salivating. She likes various kind of wines, red wines, white wines, good wines, bad wines, wines she loves. She has gave us some topics like, for example, May 4th. I'm gonna just kind of go off my highlights of May 4th. And listen, you got to write this stuff down. You got to have a journal. On May 4th, she said something. I'm gonna just run up a couple things. She says you must be a good listener. Number one. She also said ACN is our lifeboat. She made sure people hear you when you have and you talk about ACN because it's a true gift. Wow, that was powerful for me. You must be real and go pro. Stay centered on your goal. And the last but not least, she said, saying, I am. Say that to yourself every morning when you get up. What I am, I am, I am. And she said also, I'm going to leave it with this. She says, whatever it is you want, you must fight for it. You must fight for it. Nothing is given by just giving. You got to fight for it. And the last thing she said that was powerful for me on the 14th of December, she said, love is the highest form of service. Are you loving on people today? Because people need love today. Have you noticed how our society's changed? Miss Kathleen Williams, that's right. Without further ado, Platinum Regional Vice President, hails from the Monterey Salinas area, a wonderful lady, Miss Regional Vice President Platinum, Miss Jocelyn Driskill. Let's give her a hand, everybody. Wow.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone? Awesome, awesome. So great to be with you this morning, Mr. Thomas. Thank you for such a kind introduction. I am 100% grateful every single day, but to be here and to be honored with being able to speak into all of you because Mr. Thomas entrusts in me to bring a message that might impact or change you. And I can't be more grateful for his trust in me to be able to do that. You know, those of you who work alongside Mr. Thomas, you know what a phenomenal individual he is. As a human being, as a person, he exudes the love he just finished with. He loves on every single one of us. And that is the highest form of service. And Mr. Thomas, you're a champion in every part of your life. And we thank you. We thank you. So you guys, I'm going to tell you, if you talk to Jabri, you're going to know that I have had some challenges this morning because there's a message I'm bringing here that's I believe the enemy did not want you to hear because my video on my PowerPoint is still downloading. I could not shut down my computer. I couldn't get it to go. So luckily I do have my video on my desktop that I can share. My PowerPoint, we'll see if I can bring it up. I'm not sure, but you know what? It'll be perfect the way it is. And I can actually read the PowerPoint. I just don't know if I'll be able to pull it up on the big screen. But the main point, this is what I want every single one of you to know. We all have challenges. It is not the challenges that come to us. It is the solutions that we administer to whatever challenge we have. We don't go crawl in a hole and try to, and just say, forget it. No, we have a message. We have something to say. As I said, what do you want to say to the world? What is it that you want to say? And don't let any challenge stop you, because when you're stopped, you know you are close. Your potential is everything. And I had started to do a training for today, and yesterday, ask Jabri, yesterday, God changed it. And you're going to see why. Yesterday he changed it, and I had to go back into a design and creating mode for this particular training this morning, because there's a message here for someone. My goal always, as Mr. Thomas knows, is to impact one life. If it's just one life that it makes a difference in, I'm good. I've done my job. So I ask for all of you to have an open mind, open heart. If you're new here, if you're going to see this later on YouTube and you're here with us later, you know, thank you for being here. Let's just be grateful for what life gives us today. And then let's do something with the potential that God sees in us. See, I'm going to be authentic and real and come from my world of how I've had success, how I've powered through challenges, how I've had to see the better version of myself, you know, because he sees it before we do, and we have to go inside and really bring it out. And I love that Mr. Thomas started this year with the word potential, and this exudes everything. And I love the song that I had Jabri play before I got on, which is Warrior. It is a fantastic song. I want you to think about the warrior that God already created you to be, right? I did some trainings on being a warrior, like Wonder Woman, Superman, all those kind of things. But I want you to dig deeper, okay? And before I go into this, I want to really give thanks to Jabri for all he does for all of us, but he has brought me through some challenges. He has done last minute things for me. Jabri, you are a champion as well, and I'm so grateful for your leadership. The back inside of this business that is techie and all of that, a lot of us don't have it, but when you have people like Mr. Jabri Clemens, you know, again, just be grateful. He is incredible. And leading in his part of what the giftings he has as well. And so I'm so grateful for you. So thank you. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to actually share my screen here. You're going to see my slide deck because I cannot open it yet unless my video downloaded, but you're going to see, so you can see right there, my video is downloading still. So I'm stuck. I can't actually get on my slides. But what I'm going to do is actually read that first slide, and then I'm going to go directly into this 18-minute or so video that was given to me yesterday that every single one of you need to hear, but someone's going to be impacted by it. So in order for me to read this first slide, I've got to put my glasses on, but this is all about potential. Don't set limits on your unlimited potential. Remember what Mr. Thomas started with. My biggest goal this year is to stop playing around with my own potential, because every single one of us, God sees potential. He doesn't see anything else. He comes to you in your potential that he created you to be. So I'm going to dive into this video. This is Pastor Holly Furtick. Her and her husband founded Elevation Church. Elevation Church is a mega church today. But if you knew where it started and the potential that was inside of both of them, Holly and Pastor Furtick, this is their 15th year anniversary yesterday, and she was, Pastor Furtick had her give the message, and boy, was it strong. I'm going to show you a piece of this, and I want you to dig down to your dreams, to your visions that you've been given that you don't even think are real. I want you to just dig deeper, see your potential that he sees. We all have fears. We all have challenges. We all have things happen to us in life. A lot of us just don't know what everybody's challenges and fears and all of that is. We all have self-talk. Don't you think I was self-talking myself this morning going, what the heck? Doubting, right? Of not being able to get on this. I just want you to dig deeper, and I want you to listen clearly. And then I'm going to recap, and I have 2 testimonials you need to hear that pertain to this, because I want you to believe that you were here. You're here for a reason, and you're here in the now with ACN for an absolute reason. So let me see if I can open this video here. There it is. Jabri, can you see it? Say yes, because I can't see you saying yes. Just make sure that it's on. It's there.
Yes, ma'am. We can see it.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. So here we go, guys. Get your notepads out.
They arrived on droves of camels too numerous to count, and they stayed until the land was stripped bare. So Israel was reduced to starvation by the Midianites. Then the Israelites cried out to the Lord for help. Stripped bare, reduced to starvation, they cried out. The sad thing about this is that it's only a few generations after Israel fled slavery in Egypt. And here we find them hungry and hiding in their own land. Have you ever been hungry and hiding when you were supposed to be flourishing and free? Maybe something happened to you and you feel stripped bare. It's funny how unexpected circumstances can just come and knock us off our feet. They just come from nowhere. And it can be a job, it could be an illness, it could be the end of a relationship, or some of us have experienced a sudden onset of anxiety. And it could even be a change that you thought was gonna be awesome. Like maybe you went away to college, but now you're just struggling to find your place. Like you thought this was gonna be amazing, and now you're like lonely, and maybe this isn't where I was supposed to be. And could be even like Israel, a series of your own poor decisions that led you to this place of confusion and pain. And I think when things like this happen, our natural instinct is to withdraw. I don't want to admit to others that I need help. I don't even want to cry out to God because I feel like I should be doing better than this. We feel like it's our own fault that we're suffering. And the thing about hiding is that it feels right at the time, but then it only makes you feel more isolated and alone. And for whatever reason that we find ourselves in this place, we start to convince ourselves that no one understands, no one cares, and so we just pull away even more. And we become starved for meaningful interaction with others and hungry for acceptance. And it makes you kick into scavenger mode. You ever been in scavenger mode? And you're mad at everyone, you're mad at the world, and you're trying to satisfy your soul in all the places that never really fulfill you. And that's where we find Israel at the moment. I just wonder if you can relate, if you've ever experienced this feeling. They know they shouldn't be in this place. They know they don't have to continue to live this way. And the Bible tells us that they got to the point where they were so impoverished that they cried out to the Lord for help. And I think it's so interesting that sometimes we have to get so low before we finally cry out to God. Don't worry, this sermon is not depressing because God hears our cries. That's what you have to know today. And in my experience, God hears my cries, but usually relief comes in the form of action on my part. Something I'm gonna have to do. And that's where I wanna spend the bulk of our time today. An angel comes to Gideon and he's gonna call him to action. Gideon is going to be the one to lead the nation of Israel in a fight against their oppressors, and their oppressors are big. And we're gonna watch Gideon question and doubt, but then we're ultimately gonna see him put his faith into action in an incredible way. Spoiler alert, because I'm not gonna get to the end of the story. I'm just gonna tell you about it now. Gideon and only 300 men defeat the Midianite army of over 150,000 men. And Gideon lives to be an old man. Today, I want to talk through the events that led up to this epic victory. Because you know we love to sing, I'm going to see a victory for the battle. You know, the battle does belong to the Lord. But that doesn't mean that you get to sit up in the stands and watch like a spectator. So what do? When you know you're entering into a new season, a new battle, a new calling, a new role, how do you shift from how you're currently surviving to actually living out that faith that's inside of you? God never wants us to live in hiding. He never intended us to live with fear lurking around every corner. He doesn't want us scavenging for scraps of encouragement on social media. When you cry out to him, he hears you and he helps you, but he doesn't do it for you. Because it's in that place of crying out and questioning and acting, even when we aren't sure, even when we don't feel ready, that's where God does some of his greatest work within us. And as we talk through this story today, I'm going to give you 4 things to remind yourself about God when you're facing a new situation and you don't feel ready. Not 4 things to remember about yourself. Yes, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. But when it comes time to put your faith into action, we have to remember who is really on our side. Let's go. That's what I want to talk about today. So let's get down. Verse 11. Then the angel of the Lord came and sat beneath the great tree at Ophrah, which belonged to Joash of the clan of Abiezer. Gideon, son of Joash, was threshing wheat at the bottom of a winepress to hide the grain from the Midianites. The angel of the Lord appeared to him and said, "Mighty hero, the Lord is with you." First thing that you must remember is that when God calls you, he calls according to your potential. Now, I don't know much about wheat. I like to eat it, or wine presses. But I'm pretty sure that you're not supposed to thresh wheat in a wine press. Gideon was hiding from the enemy, and he was just trying to get enough food, enough wheat to feed his family. He was just trying to get by one more day, just an ordinary day for him in hiding. And an angel comes to him. And some translations say that the angel calls him mighty warrior. There's nothing mighty or warrior about Gideon in this moment.
That's great.
He's hiding.
That's great.
He's starving. Aren't you grateful that God calls us according to the potential he sees in us? Not our past decisions, not our present circumstances. Don't you wish you could actually see yourself the way God sees you? When I think back to starting this church, I remember Stephen and I dreaming and planning about one day planting a church. And we would say things like, one day when we're older, maybe when we're 40, maybe when we're wiser, when people would actually want to follow us. But very clearly, God just spoke to us. And we just knew it was time for us to start this church. We were 25 years old. Let me put that into perspective for some of you. We'd only been out of the college dorm room for 3 years. We were not pastors. We were not church planning experts. We were children. God doesn't see you as unemployed. He sees you as a provider. God doesn't see you as a stressed out mom. He sees you as a nurturer. He doesn't see you as insecure. He sees you as confident in your own personality, in your own skin. You might be hiding, but that's not who you really are. And God is not looking for perfection. Because if he was, he wouldn't have picked us. He wouldn't have picked me, and he wouldn't have picked you. He's looking for potential. He is perfectly okay with the space between who you are right now in this moment and who you're going to become. Because he sees the fighter in you. Deep inside, he sees a person who will fight for progress. He sees a person who will fight for their family. He sees a person who will fight to keep their integrity and their honesty, even when it gets hard in their job. A person who will fight to do the right thing, even when it feels like everyone else is doing the wrong thing. That's who you are. The thing is, in Gideon's current state, he's so bitter about his situation. I don't even think he heard the mighty warrior part, because he got caught up on the part where the Lord says, hold on, let me get back to it. He got caught up on the part. Look at what the angel says. This is verse 13. Sir, Gideon replied, if the Lord is with us, why has all this happened to us? And where are the miracles our ancestors told us about? Didn't they say the Lord brought us up out of Egypt, but now the Lord has abandoned us and handed us over to Midian? Gideon got caught up on the Lord is with you part. He's like, what kind of promised land is this? That's what he wants to know. Isn't the Bible amazing? Because don't tell me that you've never spoken to God like that. Don't tell me you've never prayed, where are you and why is this happening to me? Have you ever thought, have you ever prayed, have you ever thought, everyone else is getting a breakthrough but me and my family? Can I be honest with you? I have prayed some prayers to God that I really hope he wasn't listening. I said things like, seriously, God, you're gonna bless them? God, where have you been? This was supposed to be my dream job. This was supposed to be ministry. And it feels like everything's falling apart. God, where are you? This is not how I thought it would go. And you say you're with me, but I can't feel it right now. And God is so good, because he's like that parent that completely ignores his kid's tantrum and he just moves right on with his instruction. What he says to Gideon, the Lord turned to him and said, go in the strength that you have and save Israel out of Midian's hand. Am I not sending you? God says to Gideon, let's go. Get up. I'm going to use you. Yes, you. Put it in the chat. Yes, you. But I'm not good enough. Yes, you. But I'm not old enough. Yes, you. But I'm too old. Yes, you. I'm not strong enough. Yes, you. You. Wherever you're watching from, God wants to use you. Sit down. My second point is this. God prepares you along the way. I'm just going to tell you right now, yes, you, but you're never going to feel ready. And you're never going to feel full of faith all the time. Feeling full only lasts momentarily. And then the fear sets in, and then the doubt, and then the hard stuff, like the people come along. The baby actually comes. You actually have a roommate in college. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop making excuses for why you can't do the things you're called to do. And let me be a little bit more clear. Most of the time, in my experience, God doesn't call me to do something new. He calls me to do something that I'm already doing with a better attitude and a bigger purpose. And the temptation is to walk away from what you're doing and start something new. I think I need a new marriage, a new church, a new job. I can't do this anymore. I don't have the strength to keep going in this relationship any longer. But God told Gideon, let's go. The strength that you have is enough for this moment. When God gives you an assignment, he makes it big enough for you to question it and small enough for you to take the first step. You have the strength that you need for the task that you've been given today. If your child is 3, you have what you need to raise a 3-year-old. And when they're 13, you still won't feel ready, but you'll be stronger and you'll be wiser than you were 10 years before. God's not gonna lay your future out in front of you. If he did, you would never come out of hiding. And it's not because there's this big, bad, terrible situation that's gonna happen to you. It's because it's more than you could ask or imagine. We're celebrating our church's 15th anniversary today. And I've been thinking back on all the amazing things that God's done. I can't stop thinking about how we only had to have enough faith to start, not to finish. Starting faith. Type that in the chat. Starting faith. That's all you need. The courage to start. This week, my husband, he already told you this, but when I am preparing for a sermon, I get in these rabbit holes, and sometimes it can be anything. I think at one point I was looking at camping gear this week. I don't like camping. I was looking at camping gear. But one of the rabbit holes that I went in was watching old videos of our core team meetings. I think I have a picture for you. Okay, Chunks and Amy, this is your living room. This is a picture that I don't think we've ever shown anyone before. Remember that chair with the fish on it? So here's Stephen preaching. He's preaching his heart out to about 15 people. And he's telling them how we're gonna start a church and how the worship is gonna draw people in. And the sermons are going to be relevant, and people are gonna wanna invite their friends. And then with all the passion that you can imagine, Pastor Stephen Furtick at age 25, he says, and I believe, he has this country accent. Back then, it's really funny. And I believe with all my heart that we are gonna impact the city of Charlotte. And I watched that this week, and I thought, when he was like, we are gonna impact, I'm like thinking, the world. And he's just Charlotte? You're telling me God gave this man a vision to impact a medium-sized city in the southeastern United States. The vision wasn't that we would be the fastest growing church plant. The vision wasn't that we would write songs that other churches would sing. The vision wasn't that we would have a global online ministry that would impact people all over the world. He didn't proclaim passionately that we would have multiple locations. It's easy for me to look back now and just Charlotte, but at the time, Charlotte was massive to us. But today, let's just do a little experiment. Let me know in the chat, where are you watching from? Even if you're watching later in the archive, type it in the chat. Let me know. If your life has been touched by this ministry, let me know where you are watching from. Phoenix, Nigeria, Singapore, Atlanta, Jamaica, New York, Cape Town. Not to mention all the people in Charlotte. I hope you're clapping your hands wherever you are. God wants to do more than you can ask or imagine. But for today, he gives you the strength that you need right now. That's it. Because the thing about strength is developed along the way. Get a little bit stronger. That's how faith grows. The point of faith is for you to look back and see how far you've come, but to look forward and feel a little bit afraid. I love that sermon this past weekend from Pastor Stephen so much. He said, same devils, new levels. But he told us, you might be fighting the same battles, but it's a stronger you that's fighting each time. And you're not fighting this battle alone. Over and over, God keeps telling Gideon, I will be with you. Verse 15, but Lord, Gideon replied, how can I rescue Israel? My clan is the weakest in the whole tribe of Manasseh, and I'm the least in my family. Gideon is still not on board with this plan. He's still telling God that he's not the right person for this, that he's not good enough, that he doesn't come from a strong family background. And again, God does not answer these questions. He simply says, I will be with you. And you will destroy the Midianites as if you were fighting against one man. See, he doesn't tell him he's only going to have 300 people helping him. He doesn't need to know that part. Gideon replied, if you're truly going to help me, show me a sign to prove that it is really the Lord speaking to me. Don't go away until I come back and bring my offering to you. And he answered, I will stay here until you return. You got to remember that God is patient. That's my third thing. And I want to make sure you get it. If you only hear me say one thing today, I want you to hear this. God is patient with you. In church, we love to talk about waiting on God, and we should definitely wait on God. The Bible tells us, wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he will strengthen your heart. And Isaiah 40:31, they that wait on the Lord will renew their strength. They will mount up on wings like eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not be faint. But Gideon wasn't soaring on eagle's wings. He was weary. He was hungry. He was fainting. He was out of patience for God. For 7 years, Israel was oppressed by Midian. 7 years is a long time. And Gideon had given up on God. But aren't you glad that we serve a God who never gives up on us? He's so patient. Everyone loves to quote Isaiah 40:31. You know what verse 28 says? I got to show it to you. It says, do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary. And his understanding, no man can fathom. The angel told Gideon, I'll wait here for you to return. And I believe that God is waiting for you right where you left off. He's waiting for you to return to him. He's patient with your questions. He's patient with your fear. He's patient with your poor decisions. He's waiting for you to come back to him. I struggled so much with this message because I kept asking God, Gideon's he's going to go and he's going to make this sacrifice. And God's calling him to do something. And I kept asking God, what does calling mean to us right now in 2021?
All right. Am I back? Can you hear me good? Yes? Good. Awesome. I had to play that portion. I hope it spoke to someone on this call because I can tell you, I've been there. I still am there. But just imagine the faith they had to have at 25 of a vision that Pastor Furtick could only see Charlotte. Now, just think of Mr. Thomas. How many of us, let's take a roll call. Japan, New York, Pennsylvania, Australia. You guys, your vision, that big vision you have will happen if you allow God to if you believe in his potential in you. You just have to start. And you just have to say, yes, it's me. Because ACN is your vehicle. Did you hear her say, I'm going to go over a couple things really quick of what she said, because I think we need to recap a couple things. And I have a couple testimonies. I'm going a little bit longer today because I think this is truly important to start our Monday off and to really start February and see something different in you. And then what did she say? You can't sit in the stands. You got to act. God's not going to just let you sit there. You got to get on the field. Super Bowl was yesterday. You got to get on that field and play your heart out. So what did she say? Ask yourself this question. Are you hungry and hiding? Have you found yourself hungry and hiding when you're supposed to be flourishing? You know, maybe some of you have made poor decisions like Israel did, or have a loss of a business, or have anxiety or relationship issues. Our natural instinct is to withdraw and don't want to admit you need help, right? And that maybe you should be doing better than this. All that self-talk that happens, right? The blah, 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 blah. We all have it. You go into scavenger mode. She talked about that. Satisfying yourself in places that won't satisfy you. You cry out maybe, and a lot of us do, right? But God hears your cries. And my experience, as her experience was, is the relief comes in the form of action. The relief comes in the form of action. Something you're going to have to do. So Gideon's story, it's all about him questioning himself and staying in hunger and poverty. But the angel came to him and told him what? You are a mighty warrior. You are a mighty warrior. Yes, you. That's your potential that you can't see. Think about Gideon, an army of 300. He had no idea he was going to defeat 150,000 with 300. That's your potential. Victory does not mean you get to sit up in the stands like the spectator. I'm going to keep reiterating that. You're not a spectator in your life. You got to live it. New season, living out your faith. Let's see, a couple of things. Reminder, when God calls you, he calls you according to your potential. Mr. Thomas sees potential in every single one of you. That's why he's here every single morning, afternoon, night, and weekend to help you see your own, I'm going to say the word, damn potential. You got to see it. What else did she say? That vision, right? Your dreams, they're real. Those are real. Stop thinking they're fake. Stop letting your self-talk take you backwards. It holds you back. Years go by and you make poor decisions. We make poor decisions and we don't move into the right actions. Let's see what she talked about God doesn't see you as unemployed. He sees you as a provider. Ladies, I've had conversations with a few of you. You're married and you look at your spouses as your provider. It is not men and women as men versus women as providers. Women, you can provide. You can be a provider in your family. And today more than ever, women have to step up with their men and provide together. It is your season. Stop hiding. He sees the fighter in you, the one who will fight for progress, who will fight for your family. Are you willing to fight for your family? Your why? I talk to people all the time who talk about their family and their spouses and how they want a retirement, but then they don't get that fight on and go after it. In the process, you're keeping your integrity. You've heard me talk about this, your character, and you do what's right no matter what. Have you been angry with God before? Have you had those conversations? Why me? Why is this happening? We all do. Fear is real. It is real. It's just false evidence appearing real, right? And we just have to change that mindset. Go in strength that you already have. In this moment, you already have that strength. He gives you enough because you are enough. And he will grow your wisdom and everything along the way. He prepared the way already. You are never going to feel ready, though. Didn't she say that? Stop waiting to be ready. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, I'm not ready. I don't think I'm ready. I don't think he has prepared it. You are ready. Those are just excuses. Excuses will kill every dream and every vision. He calls me to do something I'm already doing. People want to leave. How many people have you ever seen leave ACN? Let's just say that. Leave ACN. Because it's not happening the way they thought it would. That's because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're thinking somewhere else. And they think they're supposed to start something new. God is calling you to do where you're at with a better attitude and a bigger purpose. A better attitude and a bigger purpose. This moment you have the strength you need right now. You will become wiser and stronger as you go. It's called starting faith. Enough faith to start, not to finish, to start. Some of you haven't even started yet. Your potential hasn't even been tapped into. And people are waiting for you. Yes, you. I'm talking to you, Belinda Batiste. I see you. Catherine, I see you. Mary Perez, I see you. Yes, you, Caroline. Yes, yes, you, Ishmael. Yes, you, Miss Dee. Yes, you, Chris King. Yes, you, Jenny and Michael Gonzalez. Yes, you, Sensational. Yes, you, Corey. Yes, you, Heather Peary. Yes, you, Loopy Korea. Yes, you, Julian Lewis. He's called you. And you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So starting faith, it's not about finishing. You'll get there. You'll conquer 150,000 with 300. I'm just saying. So yes, you have the potential. It's already there. Don't waste it one more ounce of that potential. Get moving, get into action. I am going to take a few more minutes and just bring on a couple people because I'm telling you, I work with people every single day, like every single one of you, that don't believe in themselves, that forget that God sees their potential. And then they activate it. They have people like Mr. Thomas who breathes life over me and into me and speaks life into me just like he does you, because I've been there. And then we pay it forward, and we do that for other people because in ACN, we are building an army of hope globally. We have a global online presence, as she talked about they do as a church, right? We have an opportunity to change lives, not only personally, mentally, like Mindset Mondays and every day, just think about what I think about when hearing a Mr. Julian Lewis or a Natasha Ismail or a Mr. Thomas or, Mr. Williams, or think about all the trainers you have on here. I could think I'm not worthy enough to share a message, but I have potential. My husband always says, you have potential, kid Luca. You know what that's from? Pretty Woman, the movie. You have potential, kid Luca. Don't sell yourself short. But I have a gal that some of you know very well. Her name is Mrs. Heather Peary. And I've been working with her. She had an incredible start when she got started in May. But I'm just going to tell you, and I'm going to be real and honest with you, and I know she will too. She struggled. She struggles with believing in herself, but I saw the potential in her. I've seen it for years. God gave me the vision. She's supposed to lead nations. She's supposed to be the leader in her family. but she has to believe that. She had to take action. You guys, she hit the first position in the company in 1 hour, in 2 positions. And within 24 hours, they hit the executive team leader position. And she just now created a massive story. And some of you who were on Friday night, Mr. Byron Nelson brought her on to share a little piece of what happened in her business with a new business partner. I'm going to have them share. But I'm going to tell you, each and every one of us have challenges and obstacles. Each and every one of us have to question our leadership. Each and every one of us, think about, is Chanel Burt the same as Debbie Davis? Is Aaron Burt the same as Jeff Weber? Is Mr. Thomas the same as Mr. Nelson? No, everybody's different and everybody comes from different places and everybody has their own where they start. The new levels, new devils are the same devils as they said in this thing, right? In the piece. So Mrs. Heather Peary, I would love for you just to come on and just share a little bit, just a few minutes of your challenge, but what has truly excited you and where you've seen yourself and seen that leadership, that leader in you really step up, because it just happened in these last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 30 days, whatever, something like that. So this is Mrs. Heather Peary. She is amazing. I know this message hit her hard today. So you're going to see a little tears, but it's real and authentic. So Mrs. Peary.
Hi, everyone. Excuse me, sorry. The tears are just because God is just so good. And he uses so many different things and people. Excuse me. And they're just a lot, you know. I mean, like she was talking about your journey, it is really all about just your mind. Because I did always know that I had potential. I've done a lot of different things, but you know, if you don't believe, then you can't go anywhere. And I'm just so thankful, you know, to the Lord that, you know, God's always believed in me, and you read the word and you hear sermons and everything, but then the enemy's right there in your mind just to combat that voice. And I really had to fight. Me and my husband talk about this all the time. You have to fight for everything that you want. You got to fight for your joy. You got to fight for, you know, for the things that you want. You got to fight for your peace. You know, you get in prayer. If you're, you know, you have anxiety, you got to fight to get out of that anxiety in prayer. God does the work, but you can't just sit in the anxiety. You can't just sit in the negative thoughts. You got to fight out of it. If you got to, you know, you got to worship, you got to pray, you got to fight. You got to fight and get out. You know, if you don't have that peace, like I said, you got, Lord, give me that peace. You got to fight. So same thing with the mind. I had a lot of limitations. And because of people like Miss Jocelyn Driskill, Mr. Al Thomas, you know, all the servant leaders in ACN putting on calls like this. Do you know, I can't even tell you how many calls I've been in like this, where it was just another piece of the puzzle. And I go in again and do some ACN and struggle and then get on another call and hear people's success stories and hear another success story and hear another success story and going, wow, does that really happen? Are there really people like that? Like, I haven't seen any of it, but let me go in again. And yeah, all I could say is that you guys stay plugged in to the leaders, because they're the real deal. And all I could say is, you said that my leadership really stepped up within the last 30 days is, I just went hard in with the Lord, and really all this teaching that, you know, that our leaders give us about our mindset and how we're thinking and the negative self-talk. You know, it just all came together, just asking the Lord, help me with these negative thoughts, you know, and then having a leader like Miss Jocelyn Driskill, not taking any of those excuses. You know, if I were going to say, you know, just saying what I think about something, just like how God just ignores those comments. She ignored those comments and she talked to me like straight up, which I very much appreciate. It doesn't offend me. We need that. We need, like when Mr. Al Thomas talks to us straight up and just, even if they're like, stop it, cut it out. You know, it's like, you need that because we can just be like, those thoughts just come and they just keep piling up and I'm not this and I'm comparing this and that. Like I think about this all the time. I'm like, wow, that set me free. Mr. Al Thomas sometimes said, he does his funny voice. He's like, set a goal. What if I don't make that goal? He's all, set it again. And I was like, in the bathroom, I'm like, oh my God, I would even be afraid to set a goal because it's like, set a goal. What if I don't get it? That would be so embarrassing. That would just be so devastating to me. And then I told everyone my goal and then they're going to hear I didn't get it. And then devastated. Why thinking so much about this goal? I don't know, but I'm so thankful for people like for coaches like Mr. Al Thomas that said that. It's like, no one ever told me that. No one ever said, who cares? Set it again. So I was like, I'm on my way. I'm setting goals because who cares? I'll set it again. So, you know, I'm just so thankful that, you know, these life-giving messages that our leaders put on, it's real. God works through them. And you just have to put in the work to work on yourself. And I know that's what knocks people out of the box. So when people say ACN doesn't work, or I did that thing for a little, you know what? They just weren't tough enough and brave enough to face themselves and to change what they needed to change about themselves. Whether it was pride, whether it was looking at themselves and like, I'm really scared. I don't know how to do this. Limitations, insecurity. Oh gosh, that's a whole other call, just talking about insecurities. God had to get that out of me too. But people won't stay and work on themselves, you know, and then the skills. So it's first in us, whatever that baggage is that you guys have, if it's limitations, insecurity, fight, go after those things, find out why you are. Sometimes, I can't tell you how many times I would sit in training and something from way back in my childhood got brought up because I was at a Saturday training because of something said. And I'm like, what the heck is happening here? But you got to look at those things. Why am I insecure? When did it start happening? Go dig, get all that out. And then you can become that leader once you get all that stuff out. So yeah, it's not fun. It's hard work. But it's got to be done so that you can lead and so that you can lead others, because there's someone else on your team, there's someone else on your team that's going to be going through that same thing and you're going to know how to get them out of it. So work on yourself. You have leaders here. They're going to stand right beside you and they've been through it too. And I mean, I don't want to make this call any longer, but that's all I can say. So thank you for having me on the call and just to share. And I hope that this really encouraged somebody and just unlocked something. And it was just another piece of the puzzle because the leaders have done this for me so many times. And all those pieces of the puzzle, it just kept breaking away something every time they told us, you know, these words of life. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Peary. Heather, you're phenomenal. I've always told you that. You've only begun to start shining in this world. You are amazing. And I will always tell you that. So keep believing it. Thank you for your testimony. And I know it's just a piece of your testimony because what she did, not only for her and her husband in their first, hour, 24 hours in business, she got started a couple that she actually met online, but they attend the same church, which is interesting, right? And I love that. I got the pleasure to meet Jenny and Michael Gonzalez as Heather introduced them and started to do exactly what I taught her to do with this couple. And I'm going to tell you, this couple is busy. This couple has 8 kids. This couple is 30 days into the business. This couple actually has been through some trauma in their life recently. In fact, they lost a child. I believe she was 12 years old, and I can have her share that. And I'm just saying this because I want you guys to know that you will impact lives if you would just step in the game. You will change a life. This couple in 30 days hit the position of executive team leader with 1 point away at being 40 points around a business. Jenny runs a business inside her home. She's a fabulous baker, so you should use her for that. She's sending me cookies for my granddaughter's birthday, which is today for my granddaughter. She's 4. But I'm just telling you, busy people get it done. And they were just coachable. Her husband served in the military, so we thank him for his service. And you guys, I'm just telling you, the challenges that this couple has, they still did PBZs, got people on calls, showed up at Saturday training, got promoted on Saturday training, just continued to learn. I'm so proud of them. And I know I'm proud of Heather, because what I'm telling you, Heather did it. I coached her. She followed my coaching. I was in there with them, but she did it. She saw every service through to make sure that it got done. And she created a $725 check for this family in 30 days. So Jenny and Michael, I just love for you to share just a couple little things so people can hear the blessing that's come into your life, but knowing that you can be a blessing to so many others. And I know that's your heart. So are you there?
Hi, guys. Just want to say that I'm actually still working on your orders. So that's why you guys didn't see me on the camera for just a bit. So I took a moment to stop so I can join you guys on this meeting. I was listening, though, and the speaker that you had, I believe, is Furtick's wife, right?
Mm-hmm. Holly.
Girl, that struck me right in the heart. I was like, what are you doing to me? I'm trying to bake here. Just kidding. God, I just don't even know where to begin.
You're champions,
like,
guys.
Like Jocelyn said, about it's going on to 3 years that we lost my baby. It's been rough. I've always liked baking. It was, for me, my reason, my kids. I was a single mom for a long time, and I just enjoyed being with my kids. Everything I did was for my kids. The fact that I did have, there's times that I've had like 2 or 3 jobs, barely saw my kids. It got to a point that I was walking. I'm going to bring this up, guys, because where I was at now, back then to where I'm at now, I know God has never left my sight. It got to a point where I was literally walking 9 miles to catch the bus to go to school, go to work, and then go to school and get home probably like at 1 o'clock in the morning. Getting home to my oldest, back then he was probably like 8, 9 years old, making a pot of spaghetti and saying, "Mama, your dinner's ready," with a little note saying, we love you, Mama. So everything I do is for my kids. Now, fast forward now, I didn't want to, when I lost my daughter, I just didn't want nothing to do with baking, but I knew God was just sending me orders left and right, and I remember just kind of wanting to give up. And I remember telling myself, like, getting so angry working for a company, stressing myself out for a company that didn't have integrity, that didn't care about me and my family. So why should I come work for you? And I've always wanted to work for myself and be my own boss and make my own schedule and to be closer with my kids. Now the opportunity of baking gave me that, being my own boss. If I wanted to take an order, I could take it. If I didn't want to, I didn't have to. But now just with ACN in itself, like, I remember being introduced to it years ago. It wasn't the time. I didn't have the money. Again, I was a single mom. I struggled financially. For me, I could say that today when I was actually advertising on Facebook, and Heather found me. And I know that it was a divine appointment. It was meant, because I was literally second guessing myself. Should I post this advertising for the cake business? Like, should I not? And if I would have never done it, Heather probably would have never found me. And I am so grateful for ACN because I knew the value of it back then. And the opportunity to know that my husband had my back when he heard it. He was kind of that green apple, had his questions, but to know that he had my back to support me on it, it was just amazing. And I'm still dealing with, you know, the cake business, a home-based business. I'm dealing still with my daughter's courts, back and forth. We have to travel constantly. I can't see myself on a job from 8 to 9. Like, there just would be no way, especially with the court stuff going on. And the time with my kids is more precious than going and putting my hours somewhere else. I would rather. So ACN for me is just it's a gold mine for me, because I'm able to work from home. I'm able to spend that quality time with my kids. I can travel if I wanted to. I can come and go as I please on my time, not nobody to tell me, you're 2 minutes late, girlfriend. Like, this is what I like doing, you know, and I get to spend time with my kids, and it's beautiful for me. Like, I don't even know. And I just want to say thank you to Heather and Jocelyn. You girls are just like, I know God sent you girls to me, because like I was struggling, like I loved the ACN program, and then I just remember like kind of getting frustrated a little bit, and Heather's just like, you got it, girl, like kept pushing, and Heather believed in me, so did Jocelyn. And I was just kind of like what Heather was mentioning earlier, kind of like I wasn't making excuses, but I was just like, oh, well, they said this, and I'm like, I'm the type of person, girl, you tell me no, I'm going to keep on trucking and take my business elsewhere. I'm not going to sit here and wait for you. You know what I mean? But Heather's so more patient, so loving. I was just like, Heather, I just love you. But I was just like, I'm the type of person, if you're hungry for it, I'm going to be there. Like Jocelyn, she knew, and Heather, they both knew they believe in me. And it's just like, I'm in disbelief. Like, I struggled. Well, my husband can feel you guys on that.
She struggles. She struggles with self-doubt. You know, she doesn't believe in herself, and I've been telling her for years, you got it. It started with baking. She didn't think she was good enough, and she's grown so much, and she thinks that she can't do public speaking, and it's weird to me, because she can meet someone at Walmart and talk to them for 30 minutes to an hour. I'm like, let's go. And when it comes to presenting something to someone, she's petrified. Like, she's scared to talk in front of public.
Great at it.
She's great at it, yeah. And you know, ACN is awesome. It's the way it's set up it's really easy. I mean, it's utilities that we use on a daily basis, services we use on a daily basis, and I just think it's so simple. I mean, we're dealing with so much right now. In the past month, it's crazy. She lost her best friend in January. Her brother died last year. This month will be a year since he died. Our daughter will be 3 years next month. Dealing with family issues, dealing with not within our family, but our family members, you know, need help with whatever, and we're dealing with that. We're dealing with so many things. Her business, all these things that are coming on, and it was possible. It was possible through ACN with the help of you and Heather.
Saying, like the
it's
team,
amazing. The teamwork is amazing. And for anyone to have an excuse is, you know, I can't do it or this and that. We have 8 kids, like you said. You know, my oldest is in the Air Force. She's married, and I got to worry about her. I mean, I leave her up to God, but I still think about situations that are going on with them, if they're going to get deployed again. We have 2 boys in college. We think about them all the time. And then we have younger kids, you know, and we're taking care of our 4-year-old niece. So there's so much going on with us. But the way ACN is set up, and then the leadership and the teamwork, it's just...
You guys have our back.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Heather and Jocelyn, on a daily basis, they send, you know, like inspirational and motivational quotes in the morning. And you know, if I have a question, they're quick to respond. You know, if I have I have not an issue, but there's like, I guess I could say it's an issue, like wording stuff. Sometimes it comes out wrong, and you girls are amazing and just help me with, you know, how to express myself and how to speak to others. Because I do struggle with that sometimes. I don't know if it's like the self-doubt might be coming in, that I don't even know how to speak or say things, but you know, guys, it's just, I know through the grace of God, we're still standing because of him, because he is our rock and our foundation. And to have the opportunity to work with amazing business partners is just another it's out of this world. It's just it's crazy,
A
but in a good way.
blessing.
A huge blessing for sure. So I feel peace.
Thank you so much. You guys, you know, we could go on, and I know they could go on, and we have taken quite a bit of time here, but Michael and Jenny, you have only just begun to touch lives, to change your own life and your own situation. Heather and I are so grateful to be alongside of you. We know it's a perfect alignment, and we look forward to many more of these events that you get to speak on and share your story, because I know it's going to be grand. I already see it. I've already seen it. So thank you guys for sharing. I know, Mr. Thomas, we took a little longer. I believe many of you needed to hear this story and hear their stories, and know that people are waiting for you to talk to them. People are waiting for you to see their potential. People are waiting for you to believe in them. And yes, it is you. It is you. Mrs. Peary, you knew it was you, and we had this conversation. You guys, believe in yourself. Just step in, take the action. God's already got you prepared, and let ACN bless your life and keep fighting for you and others. You guys, this is just a phenomenal platform. Mr. Thomas, I thank you for your time. I truly do. Just know if Jenny and Michael Gonzalez can do it, you can too. You heard their struggles, you heard their fight, but their fight is bigger than their struggles. And we will fight every step of the way with them. Together we win, together we rise. Mr. Thomas, back to you.
Thank you, dear.